welcome to Behind the Bar with Steve. This is episode 30. The big 30. It's episode 30, and on today's episode, we're going to be doing a segment that I call Versus. Not verses. It's versus. Like you versus me. This is a subjective drinking competition. We're kicking it off today. And so what versus is when I compare two different things and declare a winner. To drink with drinks. Talk about drinks. I've done those with whiskeys in the past and maybe some other things. It's called versus. Now, in this episode, we're getting into an interesting topic here. So I've explained in the past, I think it was specifically episode 23, that I'm going to do something like some health stuff. And I've been trying to be healthier, especially in the now. And I've been doing a really good job of it. So I'm going to keep it going for a little bit longer until I start to have some drinks. But I've been really indulging in zero beers. Now I hear the questions already. Hey, Steve, zero beers? Yeah, zero alcohol beers, non-alcoholic beers. Now, I'm not too keen on these. In history, I'm not too keen on these. I was always about, drink a beer. Just drink a beer. You can do that, but I figured this was a healthier option than just drinking a beer or stuff like that. I could drink more of them and enjoy them without any concerns, any worries. And here's another question. Hey, Steve, why would there be such an interest in zero beers? There's an interest in zero beers right now. It's growing. Interest in zero beers is growing. And way more companies are doing the zero beers. And yes, I would be referring to them as zero beers to keep it simple. And for their big brothers, the beers with alcohol, I'll just refer to them as beer. You got zero beer and you got beer. Beer has the alcohol, zero beer does not. And it has an uprising in zero beers. You used to, back in the day, not really long ago, and this is what got me really interested in this. Not too long ago, you were like, well, I stopped drinking. I will indulge in some zero beers every now and then. And they break out one of these bad boys. This is an old Douls, the classic zero beer, the one everybody probably knows about. They'll have their buddy who is at the bar and doesn't want to drink beer order up an old Douls. And that was the only thing, really the only option you had. The very limited options. But it wasn't until recently when we had a really big growth in the zero beer community, which surprised me and what got me really interested. I wouldn't have cared too much about the old Douls, trust me. But going into the aisle of the zero beer section of the market, man, I was like, oh, wow, all these different companies are doing zero beers. And there's companies doing, like, they are built and designed to just do zero beers. There's a few of those now. Actually, quite a bit of them. They are committed to the zero beer world. And that's what got me more and more intrigued. I was like, this is interesting. How all these different companies doing zero beers now. And now I'm into it. And now I'm going to try to explain why we're going to be talking about them. And we'll be drinking them and talking about them and reviewing them. Everybody knows in the country right now that a lot of people are trying to be more healthy. Maybe we call it the Make America Healthy Again initiative. Everything's a healthy risk. There's healthy things and there's not healthy things. And it's with a lot of things now, and this is why they slap these labels on there: the zero, the free, the alcohol free, the zero sugar, the low sodium, low this, low fat, low this. And they put the big key words is the low and the alcohol free and the zero alcohol. So the beer world is obviously that's coming into the beer world where, well, maybe you should be a bit more healthy. There's different types of people that would be drinking a zero beer. There's the people that are just they've hit a place where they have been told you need to start drinking less, but you still like a nice cold beer. It's a vibe. It's like, I have this bar. I want to come down here and have a beer. I want to come down here and have a bourbon. I want to come down here and have a beer, but I'm trying to be more healthy, right? For the now, I'm losing weight. I'm getting better in some of the different health areas, and I like to come down here and hang out in the bar, and I like to drink the zero beers and play it safe. It's about playing it safe. So I'm on some medication where they're like, if you drink, it's not safe for you to be drinking. I get away with a beer here and there, but I can come down here and like really more enjoy myself and not have to worry if I have the zero beers. And that's something a zero beer might, a person that a zero beer might be for. Or you got the ones that people that are like really like to drink. And sometimes the zero beers helps to take that edge off a little bit when they're dealing with some sobriety issues, which is okay. And then so they'll want some zero beers. But the good news is, and this is the good news, and this is why we're doing this, there's so many options now for the zero beer. You don't have to just have an Douls. This is your grandfather's zero beer. And now all these other beers are not your grandfather's zero beers. We now have a lot of choices. So we're getting into this in competition status. I wanted to go through all the different beers and say, well, this one's better than this one. This one's better than this one. This is the best one. This is the good one. And we're going to do that. Today we're doing 8 beers, and that's only going to get us a number 1 contender for a championship that will be later after we do another 8 beers. There's a 16 beer in total. I'm trying to get master collection. I've already amassed a collection of 8. In front of me now I have 4. Continuing this episode, we'll have another 4. But so let's get into it because we're going to be starting to eliminate the beers and be like, this one's better than this one, this one's better than this one. And then bracket, tournament style, bracket, elimination, advancing. I tried to make the initial bracket where it's paired by something closely similar. There might be some where it's just like, sorry, it's this one, and that's all I got. To put up against each other, and drink. This one's better. Now I've had a bunch of these, so I'm already in my mind a little bit like, yeah, I like this one better than this one. But we're gonna do a direct side by side comparison, taste testing, trying to say this one's good. So let's start with our first 4. Let's get into this now. I decided to do so. Anheuser-Busch is, of course, into the zero beer game. They are the Douls people. Douls is Anheuser-Busch. So is Michelob. So there's going to be a lot of Anheuser-Busch, but they'll be knocking each other off, here today. So closely similar. All right. Let's start the first one competition. Michelob Ultra Zero. Michelob Ultra Zero versus Douls. Michelob Ultra Zero versus Douls. Like I said, so Douls is already up under some competition. Douls that was the go-to. That was what everybody knew. All right, Michelob Ultra Zero. If you like Michelob Ultra, which is already kind of a light beer, very light, not a lot of alcohol, like I don't know, 3-4%. It's not high. It's not, and more for people trying to be healthy. The Michelob Ultra. So now we have it where we eliminate the alcohol completely. So it's Michelob Ultra Zero, and this is Michelob Ultra Zero. So I mean, as expected, very light tasting. Has a good taste to it. I would definitely say it's a good beer. It tastes just like the Michelob Ultra. I've had Michelob Ultra, and when I drink this, I'm like, yeah, Michelob Ultra. This is just the zero version of it, and it's just the same. It's kind of sweet. It's very good tasting. A nice, very mellow, airy beer. Real light. Obviously, light beer. Zero. A lot of the zero beers are going to be like a light beer. Like a really light beer, but when you drink the good ones, when you drink them, you're like, it doesn't make you feel like you're not drinking a beer with the alcohol in them. And that's what a lot of these do. So this is the Michelob Ultra Zero. I like it. Here's O'Doul's, the classic O'Doul's. So O'Doul's is slightly more, I don't know, hoppy a little bit more. I definitely taste the difference. There's a pretty solid difference, although it's not by much. And they have a particular, it's a little flavor profile, and I think O'Doul's is a bit more buddish, a bit more like a Budweiser or a Bud Light. It has slightly more flavor, but it doesn't make that flavor that it's better. That the flavor that you detect, that you taste, is better than the Michelob. So, the winner of this one is Michelob. Michelob Ultra Zero knocking off O'Doul's. Like when you actually get the taste of the Michelob, and then drink O'Doul's and get the taste. Just the taste, the flavor profile. That's real light. It's really hard to really detect a real solid difference. They're very similar, but it's got to go with the Michelob. It just tastes slightly better. So O'Doul's immediately knocked off. They're done, and which was to be expected. Because when you'll start seeing some of the beers, like really interesting stuff. Let's not get too confused here. Michelob beating O'Doul's. Bang, we'll do Michelob. I'll eventually drink all these down, right? The next two, we got Budweiser Zero and Coors Edge. Let's crack them open. Let's crack them open. Get these done. All right. Start with the Coors Edge. And so Coors Edge is obviously Coors Zero beer. That's it. Coors Edge. It's Coors Zero beer. And what I've always thought about the Coors Edge is this. Coors Light has a taste. You know, a lot of the big key light beers, Coors Light, Miller Light, Bud Light. I think probably the best of those lights is the Miller Light. Because some of these other beers, they all try to be so different because they're trying to be different and have their own identity. And when they do, some of them it doesn't work that well. And Coors Light is one of those. Coors Light tries to be super about the ice cold. And we do this in the cold. We do this in the cold. Ice cold. Ice Rocky Mountain cold. But they got this taste where they're trying to be, I guess, slightly unique in their own way. And that taste, that slight taste, I don't really like it. I think it sucks. I think it's crap. Coors Light is crap. I don't like it. I don't like the taste that you get. I don't know the background behind the taste. I mean, we could all look it up and Google that shit or something. I don't like Coors Light. And then Coors Edge kind of definitely has that Coors Light taste. Not as much because it's lighter. It's zero alcohol. Because I think a lot of that taste is coming from the alcohol. But you still get a bit of it. Whatever it is in a Coors Light is detectable in a Coors Edge. So then we got the Bud Zero, and I like it. Cool. I like Budweiser with their big name on it. So it's Anheuser-Busch, but this time it's with the big name, the Budweiser brand. Bang, Budweiser Zero. And I thought I was pretty good. But we gotta be honest about this. And have a unbiased, side-by-side comparison where I have to be honest. So, there's Budweiser Zero. And honestly, Budweiser Zero doesn't have a lot of flavor at all. It just tastes like comes from carbonation. It just tastes like really not very flavorful. It's just like the way it is. It's just like not a lot of flavor there. Like it legit tastes like almost nothing. Now and so this is what made it hard. I don't like the Coors Edge. I don't like the taste of the Coors Edge, but then the Budweiser Zero just doesn't have a lot of flavor. So here's what ends up happening. Here's what's gonna happen. But it not having flavor doesn't make it really bad. It's very drinkable, but there's not a lot of flavor there. But then I don't really like the Coors Edge that much. So I'm not going to declare the winner, Budweiser Zero. Okay. It just doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's just you just sit there and drink it, and that's it. And there's not much going on there. But then I also don't really like the Coors Edge, so we'll declare the winner Budweiser Zero. But then he's walking into its own death by having to now take on the advancing Michelob Ultra Zero in the next round, and will immediately basically go. Michelob Ultra Zero has taste, and it tastes good, which is a good thing. That makes it a good one. And closely comparable to its big brother beer. This one, so the Budweiser Zero then, not a lot of taste. Yeah, Michelob Ultra Zero definitely has way more flavor, and it tastes good. So therefore, Michelob Ultra knocks off the Bud Zero and is the winner of the first four. It's moving on to basically like a semifinal. We've knocked off Coors Edge, Douls, and Bud Zero, and we move on to Michelob Ultra. Up next, we'll be doing 4 more beers for a total of 8, and we'll find a number 1 contender. But that's it for this or 4. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to end today's episode. That's it for episode 30. We did the first 4, Michelob Ultra moving on. And we'll do 4 more beers in the next episode. This one's running too long. We're going to end today's episode. Have a good one.